Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on, everybody? This is Joseph Conlon here today with your NXT review on Thursday, March 18th, 2021. We were talking about last night's episode of NXT on the USA Network. I hate to be the not negative, but I hate to be that person that says I didn't really like last night's show. Quite frankly, I just did not like last night's show. I'm just going to flat out say there. Not saying there was bad moments on the show. We had the situation with Tommaso, Champa, and Imperium, which I loved. I honestly loved that little segment last night. The Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly stuff was awesome. But for outside of that, I really couldn't get myself to care about anything else. The main event was so shit. It was a shit main event, and I'm going to talk about that. Why in this review with my co-host for the NXT review. We were not here last week, unfortunately, but we are back for week 2 of doing the co-host for NXT. Ladies and gentlemen, Cameron Johnson. Cam, how are you doing on this Thursday afternoon?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good on this Thursday afternoon. I'm doing good this Thursday afternoon. We had Zack Snyder's Justice League just released, which the movie is 4 hours long, but don't worry. I'm ready for this. I'm a wrestling fan, and WWE has trained me to be ready for these 4-hour shows with WrestleMania the past couple years. So I am ready for this. So I've been ready for that. And yeah, man, glad to be back on the show. It sucks that we couldn't do a review last week, but here we are today, and I'm with you, man. I didn't really like this episode of NXT either. I don't want to say it was a bad show, but it just felt like it was there. Like it felt like nothing progressed. It felt like nothing happened last night. Like if you missed NXT last night, you really didn't miss a damn thing.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and that goes to show you between the 2 shows on Wednesday with NXT and AEW. Like AEW, a lot of people were talking about that Britt Baker Thunder Rosa match. That was the talk of the town. On NXT, there's really nothing much, and it just makes me. I mean, I can't wait. I can't wait until they move to Tuesdays. It's gonna feel so good. Honestly, I feel excited that they're moving to Tuesday nights. And we can get this Wednesday night AEW NXT done and finished. I know you're probably on the same page with me, but I can't wait for them to move to Tuesdays.
I can't either. The sooner they move to Tuesdays, the better. I'm sick and tired of having to flip-flop the channels back and forth, having to commit to watching one when I could be watching both. It's just, I'm so sick of. I'm ready for them to move to Tuesdays too.
Absolutely. Now, before we dive into last night's show for NXT, we missed last week, and therefore we are going to talk about the announcement of the 2-night NXT takeover that's taking place Wednesday, April 7th. That is going to be on the USA Network. Hip hip hooray! We get to watch commercials during an NXT takeover. And then night 2 is going to be exclusive to Peacock. So we're doing a 2-night takeover. I'm not a fan of it at all. I don't see how you can fit so many storylines into a takeover that you're going to get people invested in. It's NXT being a copycat to what the main roster is doing with the main roster. And quite frankly, I don't like it. NXT used to be its own brand, its own special, unique brand, and now it's becoming another brand. It's becoming just another show in WWE, and honestly, it feels sickening. It really does. But the 2-night takeover, I'm not a fan of, but we are getting some nice matches. It seems like on that show with Karrion Kross, Finn Balor, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Raquel Gonzalez, and Io Shirai. Jordan Devlin, Santos Escobar. There's a lot of matches that are going to be taking place on these 2 nights. So we'll have to see how the show. I bet the show is going to be awesome. The 2 nights are going to be awesome. I just don't like the way they went about it. So, what are your thoughts on this whole 2-night NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver, Mr. Johnson?
I don't like TakeOver being 2 nights. I'm not against the idea of it being 2 nights because I'm not against the idea of it being 2 nights just because, like you said earlier, they definitely have some matches on this card that could work, and it's probably going to be an excellent show. So I'm not really mad about it being 2 nights. If anything, I'm more mad about the placement of it. To me, having the show on Wednesday on USA Network with commercials and then Thursday makes absolutely no sense at all. If you want the show to, it makes absolutely no sense at all. I understand why they're doing it because they want it to be WrestleMania week, and they want it to be WrestleMania week. But I'm sorry, having it Wednesday and Thursday is just absolutely, I think it's just absolutely stupid. If you wanted to have TakeOver on 2 nights, you should have done something where you put the first night on Thursday, and then the second night on Friday, and then you have and then that leads into WrestleMania Saturday and Sunday. Or you should have done it the weekend before or the weekend after WrestleMania, with it taking place on Saturday or Sunday. I am not a fan of the placement of the show. The fact that it's on Wednesday and Thursday, and with it being on Wednesday, it really does feel like they're counter-programming. It really does feel like they're counter-programming AEW. It really does. So I hate it being on Wednesday with the commercials and everything. I'm not against the idea. I just hate the placement more than anything. Wednesday and Thursday, I just think it's terrible. They were going to do this. They should have done it Thursday, Friday.
See, the problem with the Thursday-Friday format, I see where you're coming from, but the problem with the Thursday-Friday format is you have SmackDown on Friday. And Vince McMahon is not going to let an NXT TakeOver, overpower and, overtake one of his shows. I just don't see him doing that at all. So I think the Thursday-Friday format wouldn't work. I would be up for that, or I would have it, I agree with you. I would have it the weekend after WrestleMania just to make sense. I don't want to watch an NXT TakeOver where there's going to be commercials. That's going to feel so weird. Like if we're watching Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly in the main event and there's a commercial, I'm going to be pissed off. I'm sorry. So that's just my overall thoughts. Our overall thoughts on the 2-night TakeOver. We're going to get into the show right here. We started off with Finn Balor and Karrion Kross. They were cutting a promo on each other after they were confirmed for for TakeOver Stand and Deliver for the NXT Championship after Kross. He interrupted Finn Balor last week, got in his face after Balor beat Adam Cole. And then, out of nowhere, Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch come out, and they talk about this situation and whatever. And then Scarlett says, why don't you two put the tag team titles on the line against these two? And Lorcan and Burch are like, no, we don't want to do that. And then Scarlett walks up to them and says, you're confident about your abilities, right? You're confident that you're a great tag team or whatever, and you're not cowards. And then Lorcan and Burch accept the tag team main event for tonight against Kross and Balor. And I am just thinking in my head, Jesus, this is Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman all over again, and it's happening in NXT. What has happened to NXT and their booking, man? This was terrible. And the main event, like I said before, the main event was shit. And I'm going to talk about that once we get to the main event. But what did you think of this opening segment?
I thought the opening segment was going fine until the opening segment was going fine until the main event until we got the main event announcement. BS. I hate when WWE does this. I do. I hate when WWE takes the champion and the challenger, or they take the two people that are getting ready to feud on pay-per-view, and they put them together, and they have them fight the tag team champions. I cannot stand when they do. We saw it with Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman. We saw it with John Cena and Randy Orton when they were feuding. We saw it with Cena and Miz. We're seeing it now with Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. Those two women are getting ready to have a WrestleMania. Those two women are getting ready to have a SmackDown Championship match at WrestleMania. But for some reason, they're teaming up against the tag team champions at Fastlane. I hate when WWE does stuff like this. I do. To me, it's just completely lazy. It's just completely lazy, and you had no other way you could build up this feud between Finn Balor and Karrion Kross. You had no other way you could extend it. You had no other way you could extend this feud. You mean to tell me you couldn't have Finn Balor wrestle and Karrion Kross lay him out? You mean to tell me you couldn't have Karrion Kross wrestle and Balor come down and stare him down? You mean to tell me you couldn't do something else other than this BS? I hate when WWE does this. It just comes off this lazy. It just comes off this lazy booking, and this is very Raw SmackDown-esque booking. So I hate it this second.
Yeah, I mean, it's scary. But 2019 NXT, they were not like this. Even when they started to go on the USA Network, and then almost a year now, this NXT brand has changed. And it was not for the better. It was indeed for the worst, in my opinion. So we got the opening match of Austin Theory and Dexter Loomis, which was 11 minutes. Loomis got the win in a pretty good match. Loomis offered a handshake to Theory to forget all this. Theory got played by Dexter Loomis. Theory gave a hug to Mr. Dexter Loomis, and then Loomis put him in a submission hold and made Austin Theory pass out. And it's clear as day that Dexter Loomis is going to be the next NXT North American champion, and we are looking possibly at a split up between Johnny Gargano's faction, The Way. So I thought this is a pretty good match to start the show with the action. And it was pretty good. That's all I really got to say. What did you think about the opening match? Dexter Loomis gets the win over Austin Theory.
I thought it was a good match. I thought it was pretty good, too. I think Austin Theory looks like an idiot, to be perfectly honest with you. The fact that he wants to trust a man who is basically portrayed as a serial killer. That's his gimmick. His gimmick is that of a serial killer, stalker-like character. So I think Austin Theory looks stupid. And I hope this is the end for The Way. I do. I thought this was going to be great when they put them together. But this faction hasn't been doing it for me. I'm just being honest. This faction has not been doing it for me. As entertaining as Johnny Gargano has been in this heel role, this faction does absolutely nothing for me. So the quicker as soon as they break up The Way, I think the better. And I think Austin Theory looks like an idiot.
Yeah, I do too. And maybe Theory plays in a role where he accidentally costs Gargano the North American Championship at TakeOver, and we get set some sort of a situation. But we'll have to see what happens with the North American Championship. But next up, we had Adam Cole out in the middle of the ring. No music. He just came out standing in the ring, and he says he wants Kyle O'Reilly. And once he finds Kyle O'Reilly, he is going to kick the absolute shit out of him. And then William Regal comes out, and he's like, Kyle O'Reilly was not even cleared when he was in the building last week. And now he's going to be out even longer with his neck injury still. And then Kyle O'Reilly appeared on the Titantron, and he threatened Adam Cole that he was going to go to his house and he was going to destroy him and take everything away that Adam Cole has ever wanted. So this feud between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly is getting very, very personal. And quite frankly, I love it. And we're just going to talk about what happened later on where Kyle O'Reilly was getting arrested. Both guys were getting arrested, actually, for fighting outside. Regal was out there, and he was asked, what are you going to do with this situation? He said, well, if both O'Reilly and Cole can make it to the CWC next week, they are going to meet face-to-face, and I'm going to give them a perfect solution to this mess. So I don't know what we're heading for at TakeOver. I'm guessing this is not going to be a traditional singles match. This is probably going to be some sort of no disqualification, maybe no holds barred, loser leaves NXT. That's what I'm thinking, but this feud has gotten personal between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. You had Adam Cole, who just would not shut up when he was talking to Kyle O'Reilly when they were both in the cops' car. And I loved it, man. I thought this was one of the only few good things on the show. So what'd you think about everything that happened tonight with Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly? And what is Regal's solution going to be next week?
I love this feud. I love the way they're building this up between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. I do. And to be honest with you, this feels like the true main event of TakeOver. Like, if TakeOver was not to be 2 nights, if it's just to be 1 night, I think this should honestly be main eventing over the NXT title match. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. This feels like the legitimate main event of, like, this feels like a bigger deal than the NXT Championship. I love the way that this feud is going. I love the fact that when Kyle O'Reilly was talking to Adam Cole, he was telling Adam Cole, "I know where you live. I know where you live. I know where you buy your video games. I will find you. I will find you." I will find you, even though I'm not cleared right now. I thought that was great, and I thought that was great. I love the fact that this is a blood personal feud here. And in terms of what in terms of what William Regal has done, in terms of what William Regal's solution is going to be, I would love for this match to be some sort of unsanctioned match. I'd love for this to be unsanctioned. Especially if the storyline is that Kyle O'Reilly is not clear. That Kyle O'Reilly is not clear, but he just wants to get his hands on Adam Cole. Take a page out of the Johnny Gargano Tommaso Ciampa playbook from a couple years ago. Have this be an unsanctioned match and let them brawl all over the damn building. I think that would honestly be the best solution for these guys here. Just do an all-out brawl, unsanctioned match. Maybe we even get cinematic. Maybe we even get some sort of cinematic match with these two men, with these two guys. But I love the feud between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. I think this has been great, and this feels like the main event of TakeOver over the NXT Championship.
Now, I do agree with you that it should main event, and it does feel like a bigger deal than the NXT Championship, but if you were booking this, would you have this main event night 1 or night 2?
Night 2. I'd have this be night 2. That is how big of a deal this feels. I'd have that be the night 2 main event. Night 1, you give that to Balor and Kross. Night 2, you give this to Cole and O'Reilly.
Yeah, we should see. I would totally be in favor with that. I don't think it's going to be on night 2. I think that the night 2 main event is probably going to be Kross against Finn Balor, but hey, I'm loving everything that Cole and O'Reilly has been doing, and this feud feels like the old NXT to me. It's kind of like Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, but this feud kind of feels like the old NXT. We had a tag team match between Legado del Fantasma against Breezango. This was just the setup to what happened in the next segment. Legado del Fantasma, they get the victory. Really nothing much to talk about, Matt. Here, just a tag team match. But after the match, after the match, Jordan Devlin comes out with his Cruiserweight Championship. And this was inevitably going to happen. It was just when Jordan Devlin could get to NXT. and to America, and he calls out Santos Escobar for being a placeholder, and Escobar makes fun of that. He's like, I'm a placeholder. I made history with this cruiserweight division. I mailed the legacy with the cruiserweight division, and we should settle this once and for all to see who the true cruiserweight champion is at the big stage at NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. Devlin then gives Escobar a headbutt into a over-the-shoulder suplex, and Escobar starts bleeding from the mouth. So we are setting up for a Jordan Devlin Santos Escobar match at TakeOver. Should be a great match, but I liked this segment, and we'll have to see how the build goes until TakeOver for this match. What did you think about this segment between Escobar and the returning Jordan Devlin?
I thought the segment was fine, but before we get into the segment, I just want to say, why was Breezango used in what was basically a throwaway tag match, losing to Legado del Fantasma? I think Breezango is a team that should be protected, honestly, and them doing this does no favors for them. But moving on to the segment, I thought the segment was good. I thought this is a really good segment, to be perfectly honest with you. I like the fact, it's about time. It's about time that they're doing Jordan Devlin and Santos Escobar again. And, it sucks that, what happened with the pandemic. It sucks that what happened with the pandemic that we can't get this match sooner. But this match is happening finally WrestleMania weekend. And it's about time. It's about time. It's about time. Hopefully Jordan Devlin wins and Santos Escobar can move on to something else that's not named the Cruiserweight Championship, because Santos Escobar and Legado del Fantasma should be doing bigger things. They should be doing bigger things than the Cruiserweight Championship. But I thought this is fine.
Absolutely. It's a toss-up. We could see, leading into TakeOver who wins a match, but I thought this was good, and I thought Escobar bleeding from the mouth was a pretty good visual. We had Dakota Kai against Zoe Stark, this was once again a throwaway match just to lead into the next segment. So we had a throwaway match here. It was fine for what it was. Kai got the victory in 12 minutes over Zoe Stark. It was a fine match. After Io Shirai came out, and she had a contract in hand, Dakota Kai got in her face, and she walked past Dakota Kai and went straight up to Raquel Gonzalez, and she said, I signed the contract. She basically shoves the contract to Raquel Gonzalez, and she's like, sign it. So I don't like the build for this match. They're having the champion challenge the challenger. I really don't get it, but all signs point to Io Shirai dropping the women's championship at TakeOver to Raquel Gonzalez.
I didn't. Hey, Zoe, you there?
Yeah, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. All right, so Zoe Starks and Dakota Kai. First off, I don't know why. First, they had Zoe Starks lose to Io Shirai, which fine, she's the NXT Women's Champion. But now Dakota Kai, I don't think this is a way you probably build up a woman. I think Zoe Stark should be running through the roster before she starts wrestling some of those bigger names on NXT, like a Dakota Kai. Because I think Zoe Stark is going to be a big player in NXT this year. But I don't like the build up to this either. I don't like how it's the champion challenging the challenger. And to be honest with you, it feels like this is it feels like NXT didn't strike when the iron was hot with Raquel and Io, Raquel and Io. We all thought this was going to be the match at NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day, but it wasn't, and now Raquel has lost a lot of her momentum. I feel like she's lost a lot of her momentum from when she had at the beginning of the year when she beat Rhea Ripley in that great last woman standing match. I feel like she's lost some of her momentum. And I feel like she's lost some of her momentum, and now they want to do this match with her and Io, and I don't think it's going to have that same impact when Raquel beats Io WrestleMania weekend. I don't think it's going to have that same impact that it would have had this happened TakeOver Vengeance Day.
Yeah, I totally see where you're coming from. Now, once you're fixing whatever you're doing, Dakota kind of looks pissed off that, Io Shirai went by her. She ignored her, and she went straight to Raquel Gonzalez, and she didn't really, I don't know if it was you, but Dakota Kai didn't look that happy. Now, with Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai, do you see these two splitting up pretty soon, and you can have Dakota Kai be the heel or Raquel be the heel and be like, I carried this tag team or whatnot? What do you think? I do think they're splitting up, but what do you think would be the way to split up Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez?
I think the way to do this is Raquel. Goes babyface. I think that's the way to do it. If we're looking at the NXT Women's Division, this is assuming Io Shirai is going up to the main roster after she drops the title. After she drops the NXT Women's title, you don't have Rhea Ripley there anymore. Shotzi and Ember are in the tag. Shotzi and Ember are in the tag team thing. NXT is going to need that next big babyface, and I think they're going to look towards Raquel Gonzalez for that. To be perfectly honest with you, so I think if they're doing this feud, I think Raquel goes babyface and Dakota Kai stays heel.
Do they split up Dakota Kai and Raquel?
Yeah. Yes, I think they do.
All right then. We had Tommaso Ciampa attack both members of Imperium. Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel viciously attacked them. Timothy Thatcher is nowhere to be found. Alexander Wolf is nowhere to be found either. So that's the storyline they're going with. I'm not so sure about that because NXT had another COVID outbreak this past week, and a lot of matches that were supposed to take place on this show were apparently scrapped. So Thatcher could be out because he's got COVID. Alexander Wolf too. Who knows? But we had Tommaso Ciampa versus Marcel Bartel in a pretty good match. Ciampa got the win with the draping DDT. After the match, what people are talking about, after the match, out comes the ring general, Walter. He comes out, and I feel like his return was not ruined, but it was unrealistic because he came out and they had booing sound effects over the PA system and to pretend like people were booing Walter. I don't think if this was a live wrestling crowd and with full fans and Walter made his return, he is getting a massive pop. He is not going to get booed like he got booed over the PA system. That is just not right. But then he goes face-to-face with Tommaso Ciampa, and Imperium lay out Ciampa. Walter gives him a power bomb. And we are looking at a potential Tommaso Ciampa, Walter, NXT UK Championship match at NXT TakeOver. And if that's the case, man, take my money. It's probably going to be the match I look forward to the most, next to Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. That's going to be a classic match.
I'm with you.
Oh, you look like you're breaking up a little bit there. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. You were breaking up a little bit. So what were you saying about this?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't blame you one bit, bro. Champa versus Walter. I am looking forward to this match, man. Walter back it's great to have Walter back on American soil in NXT. I thought his return, I thought his return was a bit lackluster because I think you could have had him return against Finn Balor, and he just looks at Balor and goes, "I want your title now. I got this one. I want your title now." But I'm looking forward to seeing Champa and Walter. This match is going to be great, and I'm going to make a prediction here. I think Timothy Thatcher turns on Champa, and I think he joins Imperium.
That could very well be the case. It seems likely, but we got 2 more weeks before the show, so who knows? We'll have to see what happens with the Tommaso Ciampa Imperium stuff. We had a quick match between Eli Drake and Austin Gray. Bronson Reed came out, tried to fit on Eli Drake's jacket. I don't really know about that. I mean, it was whatever. Eli Drake got the victory. I'm not sold on this Bronson Reed, Eli Drake stuff at all. I don't know what's happening. It's probably going to lead to a match at TakeOver, but just a quick 5-minute match with Eli Drake and Austin Gray. What do you think about all of the Eli Drake and Bronson Reed stuff?
I thought this was very lame. I thought this was lame. You have Bronson Reed come out and try on his jacket. I just thought that was. I thought that was very lame. But I thought this was very lame. But I thought that was lame. But I think. But if they do this match, I'm fine with it as long as Bronson Reed gets the win, and as long as Reed gets, as long as Bronson Reed gets the win. I don't think LA Knight. I think LA Knight's role in NXT, and quite frankly, his role in NXT should be helping put over some of the newer talent on this show. So I just thought this was stupid.
Yeah, me too. And speaking of stupid, I don't think I'm ready to talk about this dumbass main event with Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch defending the tag team titles against Finn Balor and Karrion Kross. Now, before we came on here to do this review, you were talking to me and you said that Danny Burch got hurt during this match, and they showed that he got checked by a doctor. He did not come back from this match at all, and it looked like he could be out for... How long did you say he could be out for?
I don't have an exact timetable, but it did. But what I read was several months.
Doesn't sound good if you're the NXT Tag Team Championships, and they're building a rivalry again between MSK and the Grizzled Young Veterans. So could we see Oney Lorcan and Burch drop the titles, and we see MSK versus the Grizzled Young Vets for the vacated NXT Tag Team Championships at TakeOver? Is that a possibility?
I think that's the most logical route, especially if Danny Burch is going to be out for several months, especially if he is going to be out for several months. I think that's the most logical route. They could always do the thing where, since Pete Dunne is a part of this faction, they could always do the thing where they just have Pete Dunne and Oney Lorcan carry the tag team titles. They could always do that, but I don't think that's needed. Just strip Lorcan and Burch of the tag team titles and do MSK and the Grizzly Young Vets TakeOver weekend. They had an excellent match, TakeOver Vengeance Day. Let them go out there again and put on another classic tag team match.
Absolutely, I totally agree with that. And this main event, man, it was totally stupid. First of all, Karrion Kross, I don't think, even got into this match as he stood on the apron the entire time. So mostly it was Finn Balor versus Oney Lorcan. They were fighting each other the entire time. Kross was standing on the apron. He was giving Balor these creepy, weird demise looks. It was weird. They were fighting on the outside, Balor and Lorcan. shotgun drop kick, or he threw Lorcan into the barricade, shotgun drop kick into Scarlett Bordeaux. So Scarlett gets knocked down by the drop kick. Finn Balor goes to check on Scarlett. Karrion Kross sees this. He takes out Finn Balor on the outside, throws him to the barricade, throws him into the ring post, throws him into the ring, and then Oney Lorcan hits a uppercut elbow to Finn Balor, and they have damn Oney Lorcan pin Finn Balor to retain the tag team championships for himself and Danny Burch, and then after Kross laid out Balor. This was stupid. Finn Balor got pinned in a tag team title match where he's the NXT champion, and he should not be losing this match at all. It is just, it's dumb booking. It is just dumb booking by NXT, and it's Triple H taking a page out of Vince and Bruce's playbook. It's stupid.
I agree with you, man, 100%. This was just bad. I like Oney Lorcan, but I think he's fine. I like Oney Lorcan, but to have him pin Finn Balor, this is stupid. First off, why are the tag team titles even on the line? You should have just done it. You should have just done a regular tag. You should have just done a regular tag match. That's one. That's one. That's one. Two. That's one. Two. We all knew Balor and Kross weren't winning the tag team title, so instead of having Lorcan pin Balor, you have two options here, NXT. A, don't book the match, or B, have the match in via disqualification, or B, do a cheap cop-out where you have the match in via disqualification because Karrion Kross gets pissed off and he lays out Finn Balor. He gets pissed off and he lays out Finn Balor.
He did lay out Finn Balor, though, so shouldn't it be a DQ by then?
It should be a DQ by then. It absolutely should be. It absolutely should be a DQ by then. But, it absolutely should be. But they should have just done a DQ. Don't book the match or put another tag team or put another tag team up against these guys. But I thought this main event was completely and utterly stupid. I thought it was a stupid main event, just like you. This had to be Road Dogg here. I'm almost convinced this had to be Road Dogg here. I'm convinced this had to be Road Dogg who booked this show and put this main event together, because it was just awful, just an awful ending to a show that was not really all that good at all. This was a miss. This is a miss for NXT. Hopefully they come back next week, and hopefully they rebound next week. But yeah, I didn't like this match. I didn't like this show.
Yeah, I totally agree. NXT struck out this week, in my opinion. Last week, I watched the show. I thought last week they struck out, even though there were some good matches. But the booking was terrible with the decisions by Regal. They struck out 2 weeks in a row. It's not a good look going into NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. But ladies and gentlemen, that is your NXT review for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you have not already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We have 3 big videos coming up for you this week. We have Fastlane preview and predictions tomorrow with Bonafide Heat. That is going to be up. I plan on having it up around lunchtime, so maybe like 12:30, 1 o'clock. I'll get that up for you guys for the Fastlane preview predictions. Saturday, we're going to have episode 3 of the Big Fight Field podcast. I got a lot loaded up for that show on Saturday. Sunday night, we are going to be back here on the channel reviewing the Fastlane pay-per-view, and I am going to be with a guest. I rarely do this with pay-per-view reviews for a guest, but ladies and gentlemen, he has been on DJ Storms' channel before several times, and he's going to make his debut on the Big Fight Field channel. We are going to have Earl Cole come on the Big Fight Field channel on Sunday night and review Fastlane. Can't wait for that. Comment down below what you guys think about this week's episode of NXT. hit that like button if you like what you heard from myself and Cameron Johnson in this review. Follow me on Twitter at Colin_Joseph. Follow Cam on Twitter as well. Where can they follow you on Twitter, man?
Follow me on Twitter at Cam71101 if you want to talk wrestling or talk whatever. That's what I do on there. So make sure you follow me at Cam71101.
Absolutely. So, Cam, thank you for coming on the channel today. This is only the second week, and we get to do this all over again next week, my friend.
Hopefully they put on a good show next week.
I know. Hopefully we have some positive thoughts on the show, and we get a good show by NXT next week. But guys, have a good night. Stay safe, and as always, stay classy.